Hello, if you have arthritis and is scared about it and does not know what to do and is wondering if you need surgery because your doctor has told you that you have arthritis, um, then you've come to the right place. I'm Dr. Lin with Empowerment Physical Therapy, and today we are going to demystify arthritis for you and tell you what you can do about it. And so, to give you some context, I was treating a 59-year-old retired cop who was coming to us through workers' comp for his low back. Has all sorts of stuff under his belt in terms of treatment wise. He's had the whole shebang. So now he's going back to conservative care after having surgery because his back isn't back to where it was. And he comes in the other day and say, "Hey doc, my doctor just told me that I have arthritis in the right hip. Do I need to have surgery?" To that I said, think of arthritis as it's essentially, if you define it, it's an inflammation of the joint. So I said, when was the last time you've had an argument with your wife? And to that response, he said, a couple of weeks ago. I said, and think of arthritis as when you're having a heated argument with your wife. Things are inflamed, you're in the thick of it, and you're yelling at each other. That is what happened. That's what's happening in your body. It's an inflammation of the joint. We all have arthritis. I have arthritis. And so we also have arguments with our significant others and family members. The question is, what is causing that inflammation in the joint? That is the root cause of what's going on. Just because you have arthritis doesn't mean we should cut you open and get rid of that arthritis. Now, if you're bone on bone and you're having pain and you've gone through conservative care, you've exhausted all conservative measures, then it makes sense to consider the idea of surgery to get rid of that inflammation that's caused by the bone on bone. But that is a talk for another day. And to give you an example of a typical arthritic joint or sort of a situation that I see quite often is, have you ever looked at the back of a heel of someone who wears a boat shoe? If you have, you'll notice that folks who wear boat shoes almost always has a sort of a red spot in the back of their heel. Now, why is that? That's because boat shoes are made to be a little bit loose. So every time you step, your heel comes off the shoe just a tad bit. Not enough for you to slip out of the shoe per se, but enough to cause a sort of a rub against the back of the heel, with the shoe. So over time, that shoe will kind of rub against the back of that heel every time you take a step. And over time, it turns red. It gets inflamed. That is an inflammation of a tendon. The same way arthritis is an inflammation of a joint. Now, clearly with that example, you can see what the cause of the inflammation tendon on the surface, on the skin, is. It's because of the repetitive movement of the boat shoe that caused inflammation. So would you want to cut someone open because they've got an inflamed tendon? No, you wouldn't. You would not, because it doesn't make sense. It's a superficial problem, and you know what the root cause of that problem is. So if if you've been told by your doctors about what an that you have arthritis and you might need surgery, I would either get a second opinion or figure out sort of conservative care first before I go invasive. That's what I do. I will look at the root cause of what that inflammation is before I go under. Arthritis isn't some scary thing. It's just an inflammation of the joint. It's what's causing that inflammation that might cause further damage down the line. And oftentimes, it's a result of a muscular misalignment. We see that more often than not. Sometimes it's a bone on bone. Sometimes it's a structural thing. And you gotta have surgeries to correct it. There's no doubt about that. There's no doubt about that. In terms of alignment, of a sort of a structural alignment, we can't fix anything. Physical therapists can't fix structural alignment problems. But if it's a muscular misalignment or sort of inactivation, that is fixable. But in terms of my philosophy, from my philosophy perspective, I would go conservative first before I go invasive. So that's a wrap for today. If you've been empowered, if you want to be empowered with a toolset, mindset, and skill set on how to recover from injuries, stay mobile and independent, and lead an active lifestyle for many years to come without relying on painkillers, injections, or surgeries, subscribe and join us. If you are looking for a safe, non-invasive, and natural solution that looks at the root cause of your problem, then I would highly recommend you to give us a call. It's a complimentary discovery call where you can get some advice on what to do next. You can reach us at 917-300-9846, and that's a Yonkers location, so that you can get some advice on what to do next and that you can make the best decision for your health. There's no obligation to move forward unless you are ready. Otherwise, until next time, take care.